This is Chapter 3, Section 7, Day 2 notes. So now we're going to be solving an absolute value inequality. So there's no longer going to be an equal sign. It's going to be a greater than or less than sign. So we're going to first start with when we're working with greater than or equal to signs, or just greater than signs. Anytime it's a greater than, it'll always be an or problem. Okay, so greater than or greater than or equal to will always be an or problem. So it says, what are the solutions of the absolute value of 8n is greater than or equal to 24? Graph the solutions. Because it's an or problem, I'm actually going to do a split. So I'm going to take what's inside the absolute value, that 8n, and I'm going to make it into two problems. So this first one will use a less than sign. So 8n is less than or equal to negative 24. Okay, so I take that 24 and I make it negative on the left side and change that to a less than. So on the left side, I have a negative number and a less than sign. On the right side, I'm going to do 8n, so that same 8n, is greater than or equal to positive 24. So I pretty much keep this equation the same, I just get rid of the absolute value. Okay, so the major changes I make are actually to the left side, where I do a less than and a negative. Then I just solve these two. So for this first one, I'm going to divide by 8 on both sides. So I will get n by itself over here is less than or equal to negative 3. Or I'm going to divide by 8 on this side, and I'll get n is greater than or equal to 3. So then I need to graph both of these. So I'm going to make my number line. I'll put a solid dot at 3, and it'll go to the left. And I'll put a solid dot at 3 here, and it'll go to the right. That's all I have to do. Now it's really important that I know this is an or sign so that I know right away I split it off, and I change the sign on the left, and I change the sign to negative on the left side as well. Okay. Number 5 is solving an absolute value inequality involving and. So we always use less than to be an and problem. So less than and equal to and just a plain old less than are both and problems. So this just means the way that I write it is different than the or problems. So it says, what are the solutions of the absolute value of w minus 213 is less than or equal to 5, graph the solutions. So because it's an and problem, I have to write it all as one inequality. So I'm going to take this number, the 5, and put negative 5 on one side, positive 5 on the other. And then I take just what's inside the absolute value and put it in the middle. So I have negative 5 is less than or equal to w minus 213 is less than positive 5. Okay, so now I just have to get that middle part to be just w. So to do that, I'm going to have to add 213. Now I have to add 213 to the left side, to the middle, and to the right side. In the middle, they just cross off, but I'll end up with 208 is less than w is less than or equal to 218. So then, when I graph these, again I make a number line. I'm going to put a solid dot at 208 and a solid dot at 218, and then I'm going to connect them because it is an and problem.